Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Fantasy Football Channel. We are coming at you today with Week 5 recap. Kyle, how you doing today?
I am living the dream. How you doing?
Living the dream, baby. A lot of themes, a lot of things to talk about. NFL is off and rolling, already 5 weeks deep. Kyle, we got some topics to dive into. Why don't you take us off and let's get this ball rolling?
Yeah, let's just dive right in. Talking RBs here. Where's the roast beef
Mm-hmm.
sandwich?
I'll
Um,
take two.
CMC, JT, Kyron Williams, all big games last week. Those guys are obviously lineup locks. It's really great to see. CMC right now is RB1 in the PP standard scoring format on the season
PP?
so far. So, for all of you who took the chance on him, so far it's paid off well, knock on wood. Um,
He's breaking his leg this week now.
the gamble has paid off so far to us
So far.
brave enough to do it. I have him in one league, so of course that's the league I'm undefeated in.
That
That's
makes
nice.
sense.
I'm gonna rattle off here where we're at. Top 10 RBs right now through the first 5 weeks. Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, a big surprise there at RB3. James Cook, Jameer Gibbs, Javon A. Chain, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, Saquon Barkley, and Omari and Hampton, who is now injured.
Yep.
Top 10 there. Biggest surprise in there, other than Javonte Williams, Adam.
Mm, I mean, it's easier for Omarion to be in there because Najee went down. If Najee wasn't down, I don't know if Omarion is in there, but he did look spectacular when he carried the workload. I mean, I think that's going to give some serious value to Haskins and Vidal now. But I'd say Omarion if
Okay.
if Najee wasn't injured.
All right, well, that's great. Let's talk about the Chargers backfield here.
Yeah,
Hampton, IR, out at least 4 weeks.
at least.
So Haskins and Vidal are the two next guys up. And if I'm being honest, this is a backfield that I really want to own the running back, but I don't trust either of these guys to put up fantasy points.
Well, it's not really about trust anymore as much as about is volume. These guys are going to get the carries, and more importantly, I love it for this week because the Chargers play the Miami Dolphins, which is one of, if not the worst, run defense
Yep.
in the NFL. So,
Yep.
if you need a flex play this week, I would put in Haskins first. He's who I picked up, and I have him in my flex. Since Bucky's still dead to me, but Vidal, I mean, you could take a flyer on him, especially in PPR. Vidal's a little bit more PPR worthy, I think, than Haskins. Either way, you can pick up either one, take a flyer on it, and it should be a good week for both of them against Miami.
Yeah, if you need a running back, I'm definitely fine loading either one of these guys just to see what happens. They obviously could be huge. I just don't trust either of them. Haskins does look like the obvious big play upside this week, especially with the favorable matchup, is how I look at it.
Yep.
Um, Last week, Dowdle was the one that had the big game against Miami,
200 yards,
and he
over
put up
200.
big numbers. Yes. So
I mean, anyone, if you look at the running backs that play Miami, it's nice. The running backs, it is.
yeah. So that's something to consider if you need a guy and if you're able to scoop him on waivers. That's how I look at that backfield. And since we talked about the Panthers, do we have an update on Chuba Hubbard?
Chuba Hubbard. So it's a calf injury. Anytime you're dealing with soft tissue, especially in the calf for a running back, it's usually not ideal, and they're going to err on the side of caution because as soon as they take one explosive step, if that calf is not fully ready, you're going to re-tear it. So if I had to guess, he's going to be down at least another week. That is a guess. So until then, ride Dowdle, baby. Put all your eggs in that basket and ride Dowdle while he's got the backfield to himself, essentially. And that's about what I got for you there. But
Yeah, if you were able to scoop him and if Hubbard's not out, he's at least flexible for sure. I'm sure he doesn't have as favorable as a matchup as he had last week, but it's kind of like a hot hand thing where if you got it, you might as well ride it out,
yeah.
pending your other matchups. But it's great to have for some of these bye weeks.
Yeah, you just know that the offense coordinator is going to trust him now to feed him. I mean, after
Yep.
last week, you know he's going to be like, "We have no concerns here. Feed that man," and that's just a nice thing to have on the backside.
hmm Okay, another backfield here. The Patriots. Gibson out for the season with an ACL. I think Stevenson stock takes the initial rise the most. And then Henderson, again, he's going to get more opportunities. He hasn't really been utilized very much, but you got
Yeah,
to think he's going to eventually become more involved in this offense at some point. Otherwise, I like it for Stevenson in the short term. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, this is really a peculiar situation because if anything, the time is now for Travion because
Mm.
Stevenson's still coughing up the football. He is still fumbling like a madman. The fact that he's still the lead guy, it tells me that there's a concern that they have with Travion Henderson, whether it's his pass blocking or he doesn't know the playbook as well. Something off because the time is now for him.
Yeah.
He should be getting split carries now.
I mean, this is like a common thing when everybody gets all excited about the rookies, right? And the hype into the draft. And we know that they usually take a little while to adapt. Guys like Bijan and Genti, even the most talented of them, even when they get the full work, sure, they still take some time. And a lot of times you do see a second half of the year push for a lot of
For
these
sure.
rookie running backs. So
For sure.
that's
You do.
something I would look at for a Travion. And if you want to gamble, he's definitely a guy you could target low right now if you like to gamble.
Yeah, I mean, and the flip side of that, Omari and Judkins and Genti, they're taking off pretty early and often, minus the injury and the mishaps with Judkins. But those guys are taking off early and often, so it's like they have the trust from their coordinators to go, and it doesn't seem like Travion has it yet, and that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean that's relatively fair, I would say. Um, okay, but in the short term, you got to think. I mean, I was a little higher on Stevenson in the beginning of the season and disappointed. Gibson got more of the work than I thought he would, and
Yeah,
now that goes
he did.
away. So now I still have Stevenson in the league. He had 2 touchdowns last week, so a nice performance. But outside of that, he didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So and they upset the Bills, right?
Yes, they
Regional
did.
game, but they upset the Buffalo Bills, undefeated team. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cardinals, or their running back situation. Um, As we know, James Conner is down, and it was kind of a toss up between Michael Carter and Demercado who's going to get it. And I think after last week, we know it's going to be Michael
Yeah.
Carter going forward. Demercado, if you didn't see it, did one of those once a year doozies where he had an 80-yard touchdown run, and he proceeded to let go of the ball on the 1-inch yard line and get
Yeah.
-2 points for the fumble and no touchdown. And the head coach went over to him,
Yeah,
and
he
let's
reamed him.
just say he went off on him, and he even
Mm.
had like a little Tourette syndrome where he kind of like punched him. It was a little weird looking. I mean, it's football, so that's the intensity. But you guys pull up that video. The coach almost like Tourette punches him because he's so mad that he dropped the ball.
I mean, that's like a
What?
coaching situation that you have as like a kid, in like middle
Yeah,
school, high
it's
school, and the coach
like
goes
what
off.
are you
Yeah.
doing?
Hmm.
But yeah, with that said, Michael Carter, pick him up. He actually got a tutty. He did pretty good performance last week. I expect Team Mercado to get minimal carries going forward after that doozy.
I mean, I just think nobody is obviously as good as James Conner. It just really goes to show you how good Conner was. And even when Benson was in there, I mean, it was only a short period of time before he also got hurt, but he still didn't look as good as Conner. So they're just less talented guys. I don't know how much you can trust him, but if you need a fill-in guy, he's certainly a guy that if you picked him up or is still available, you flyer as a fill-in, right?
Okay.
Let's talk some mixed backfield, Houston and Seattle. Both these to me are 50-50 backfields. Houston right now, Nick Chubb and Woody Marks, they are sitting fantasy points 48 for Chubb and 41 for Woody Marks. So very tough for each of these guys in a PPR standpoint. Looks like right down the line 50-50, how I'm seeing the touches mostly here.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Um,
just funny, right? Because Woody Marks has a great game. Everyone runs over to the waiver wire. That next week, Chubb gets a little bit more carries and the touchdown. So you can tell it's still split. And I would go as even far as say 60-40 still in Chubb's favor, how I currently see it.
it
We'll
does
see
look
if
that
Joe,
way. Hmm.
and then if
Yeah.
Joe Mixon ever comes back, boy, is that going to get a confusing backfield. And we'll continue to see Woody Marks rise, I think, as the year goes.
It's weird because that's on most of the games, that's how it is, except for the game at Tennessee, where it was 60-40 Woody Marks, and he was much more explosive.
Yep.
Last week, Nick Chubb actually had his best performance from an average, rushing average on the season. And again, this was against a Baltimore defense that is like ridiculously banged up.
Big time.
So
I mean, that whole team is right now, but yes.
they're 50-50. They're gambles. It's tough to know which running back, and it really depends on what your roster looks like. Kenny
Yep.
Walker has quite a bit outperformed Zach Charbonnet. Kenny Walker is actually RB
As
19
advised.
right now.
This was advised
And
before the season started by myself, but that's all right.
you know what's funny though is last week against Tampa Bay, Zach Charbonnet actually outperformed again.
What was
He's
that the only week?
no, let's see. Charbonnet was out against the Saints as well. So his weeks 2 and 3 were a little bit
All right,
injured here.
all right, I get that.
Fantasy points on the season 10, 1, 0, 12, 12, basically for Charbonnet. Kenny Walker 5, 18, 18, 12, 9. So it is again, it's tough. It is really
Yeah, I mean,
tough.
Ken Walker's the clear lead for now, but we'll continue to monitor that situation. He looks better. He looks more explosive. He looks quicker. He just looks better.
He's clearly the more explosive guy, but the numbers still say that Charbonnet is a decent north and south guy who gets some red zone looks.
Yeah,
But
this situation irritates me just like it does with the Chiefs, where you got Pacheco and Hunt. Pacheco's clearly
yeah,
the better running back, clearly runs harder, more tenacity, and Hunt still gets half the carries. And it's like, what the f are we doing?
yeah. And the one league I have Charbonnet in, I don't think I've actually played him at all, but I'm
There's no sense unless he goes down.
pretty
He's got
deep at running back.
Kenny's got to go down for that to be a confident play.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to some QB and Diva drama. AJ Brown strikes my hot list again. What do
I
you
saw you
make of
benched
this,
him.
Adam?
I
I
saw you
benched
benched
him.
him.
Yep, that's a
That's a,
10 team, two quarterback standard scoring format. Georgie P, Debo Samuel, and AJ Brown are technically my top three. I also got the Kansas City guy who's suspended. When he comes
so
back, so I look good.
I'll tell you what I feel about AJ Brown. The same way I felt this entire preseason and season so far. Keep him on your bench until he proves otherwise that they're going to throw him the ball. And this week they have a Thursday night game, which is never great for fantasy performers and never great for a fun game. And it's Eagles versus Giants. The over-under on that game is already at 40.5. So they're expecting a low-scoring, divisional type matchup, which is not going to bid well for our boy A.J. Brown because they don't like to throw him the football. So I'd keep him on the bench until he gets a 10-target game. And then maybe when he goes up against a team, where they need to put up some points, then it's a different story. Yeah.
Well, he's gotten targets, and we've all been very disappointed. And again, he had some separation. He had a wide open play last week, and Hurts just outthrew him. So it's something with those guys. Like it's Mr. Steal Your Girl. They got a situation over there. One of them's upset about something. I don't know. They can't figure it out right now. So that's why I benched him last week, and I benched him for Debo Samuel, who has become very consistent. Honestly,
Yeah. I mean, that's
um,
because Scary Terry hasn't been there, so they got no one else to go to. Plus,
Debo
running back
Samuel is wide
question.
receiver 7 right now.
Well, again,
So
Scary Terry down, Austin Eckler down. So there are two guys with the most
exactly.
targets on that team. They're gone, or at least for now, until Scary Terry comes back here.
So
But
let's
yeah, I
talk
mean,
about that. What's his injury?
so Scary Terry is dealing with a quadriceps injury. And again, with these soft tissue injuries, when you have an explosive player, you want to err on the side of caution because there's the re-injury risk is so high. And the biggest thing with Scary Terry is he has yet to practice. He is not practicing yet again today, being Wednesday. If he does not practice Friday and get one in, he will not play again. And with these quadriceps and soft tissue injuries, like I said, you got to err on the side of caution because otherwise you put him out there and you re-tear it. Now you have to go another 4 weeks of sitting there doing nothing. So I don't expect him to play this week unless he somehow gets a Friday practice in. In the meantime, we'll look to monitor him for the following week.
Yeah, then I still like Debo Samuel. Then if Scary Terry is out, he's just going to get the looks, the targets, be
Big
very
time.
involved in that offense, and
Big time.
he can
He's
still
got
do
to
it.
be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cowboys. Dak looks good.
He
Ferguson
looks good.
looks good. Ferguson is tight end 1 for PPR fantasy right now.
How
Uh,
about that?
Devontae, we talked about. I think he's RB3. Um, and then they had that other guy. What is it, Florentine or whatever, who had a good
Yeah,
week.
I'm not worried about him because whenever CD wants to play football again, he goes right back to the wayside. And Pickens and Ferguson are just the lead target shares from now. So I'm
Yeah,
not really worried about.
I think Turpin was also out last week, so I think that's why this guy got so many looks.
Yep.
So he was trending in Dynasty. I didn't do anything with him. I don't think he's worth anything right now, personally.
Yeah.
Like you said, CD Turpin, they get healthy. Those guys are going to take away all of his points. It'll be interesting to see how much Pickens remains involved. Obviously, he's been great for them right now. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I guess I mean that
Dak is
offense is,
QB 5 right now in
and
fantasy
that's without CD there holding his
without
hand. So
CD.
that's impressive. So that's impressive. Well, we did give Dak a tip of the cap this year, and it's turning out
Hmm.
to be true so far. That
Hmm.
offense just puts up points, and their defense allows points, so it just helps them on the fantasy end of things.
Hmm.
A big matchup last week. The Bills are human, folks. Not only are they human, the Ravens are also, they don't even look human. They look dead. So two of the biggest
Yeah.
AFC contenders along with the Chiefs, they all just showed some serious we're no longer as good as we used to be this week. Bills lost, Chiefs lost, Ravens lost, and their records are showing not to be as pretty. What I love to see in this game is I knew Stephon Diggs is an emotional player, and he used to play in Buffalo, obviously. So you knew this one meant a lot to him. And the quarterback before the game, Drake May, was like, "We're going to try and get him the ball," and they did early and often, and the whole game long. And when you have a game like that where someone comes back to their team they played, you bet the over on their receiving yards or catches because they're going to hit, because they're going to feed them, and it did. But it was a fun game. Kyle, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty crazy. They really, made the Bills look human. But for me, the thing that stood out the most is Diggs' involvement. And yes, like you said, a comeback game from a former team. But if I look at his last few weeks, he's been trending up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pittsburgh, 3 catches, uh, really not much here, 30 yards, whatever. Carolina, 6 catches, 100 yards, 7 targets. Then at Buffalo, 10 catches, 146 yards on 12 targets.
Yep.
So, and this is a guy coming off, it was an ACL or a knee injury, I believe,
Yep.
last season as
Yep.
well.
And a
So,
new team.
new team. So he's looking healthy. To me, he's coming through as the guy for the receivers in this offense, like the guy you want to own, and is now become
Yeah.
startable, I think, depending your roster build on most formats,
Yeah,
especially if
absolutely
you can
startable.
flex him or wide receiver 2, I think is probably where he lands right now.
Targets and catches consistently going up week over week. That's what you love to
Hmm.
see as he gets settled into this new offense.
And
And
they play the
good
Saints.
for
They
him.
play the Saints this week.
Okay. Okay. That'll be him and Olave are kind of the number one receivers on crappy teams, if you will, where those are the last, kind of number one divas that you could still either scoop or get at a cheap value if you want to.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 20 right now on the season.
Hmm. That's not bad.
Okay. CJ Stroud had a big week. It was against the beat up Ravens D, so it's hard to know what to make of that. But he almost put
Not
up
much.
30 points, and they just looked like, hey, this is the team we remember from a season ago, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing that puts an asterisk next to this is when the Ravens are playing without Lamar. I mean, how much are they going into that game like we got this? Not at all. And when you're playing against an offense where they go 5 to 10 yards and then kick you the football and you keep getting that, you better put up a lot of points and your offense better move the chains a lot because you're getting so many opportunities with decent field position.
Yeah, I mean, what do you make of Derrick Henry? He's running back 23 right now. He
The
had
fact that they can't
15
get him
attempts
going,
for 33 yards and averaged 2.2 yards a carry and did get 1 touchdown last
the
week.
fact that they can't get him going without Lamar there is truly scary. I mean, I get it. Everyone's bringing more in the box, but it's like, what are we doing?
I will say, when you look at this schedule against Buffalo, he had first week 18 carries, 169, 2 touchdowns. So phenomenal. Then he played Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City, Houston. Those are
Yeah,
all
those are.
very good run
Yeah, they
defenses.
are. Yes,
And
they
they
are. They're
play the
good D's.
Rams this week, and then they're on a bye. So there's the schedule certainly loosens up for them on the ground.
The
So
craziest part
he
about
could
that
be
is,
another guy. He could another be a trade target.
yeah, the craziest part that is that they're going to be coming out of their bye, most likely looking at 1-5 square in the mirror.
Hmm.
That is, I mean, Lamar is going to have to essentially win out with a one game he can mess up. Outside of that, if he loses one, that puts him at 6 losses. If he loses more than one game, like they are done.
I still think that they would be a team that would be able to do it with all their weapons, but they got to get something figured out on the defensive side of the ball. It has become the worst defense right now.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Maybe Lamar comes back. That helps the old helps the feng shui.
They have a ridiculous amount of like all their salary cap on the defense is all injured. It's ridiculous.
I do believe that.
Moving on the Jets, 0-4. We thought they'd be a little better than that. However, Fields is still getting you fantasy points. So, it's his rushing floor. And right now he's quarterback 12, and he missed a week with a concussion. These are his weeks. Week 1, 29.5. Buffalo, where he got hurt, he only had 4. Then he was out against Tampa Bay. Come back against Miami, bad defense, 27 points. Dallas last week, 25.9 points. He does go to Denver this week, so this will honestly be probably his toughest matchup. But he did put up almost 30 against Pittsburgh. So in the league where I got one quarterback league, I have him and Herbert, and it's like a tough call each week on who to play.
Currently, it's not a tough call. You play Fields all day on that.
Herbert's got a good matchup this week, though, I believe. And
Yeah, the Dolphins.
yeah, so at least a top 10 fantasy option this week. Do we know, is that other lineman back? How healthy is that offense line? Did they lose another guy?
I don't know if he's back yet or not. You
All
keep
right,
going. I'll look
we'll
at
check
that.
on that. Jaden is back. Didn't quite look like himself all the way, but it was serviceable enough. Hopefully he takes another step forward next week. Like we said, Debo staying consistent. The running game there has been really tough for fantasy. But moving on to the Niners, Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, they looked pretty good together. A little
Yeah,
reuniting there.
the tackle for the Chargers, he avoided the IR, so you're looking at probably somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks yet. But they didn't put him on IR, so they expect him back before 4.
Okay, that sounds good. 49ers, Mac Jones. Mac Jones looks good. I don't know what's going on with Brock Purdy. I think he's still questionable. Kendrick
Yep.
Bourne. I mean, if Ricky P and Jennings are both out, and you got Kendrick Bourne, like I see that as a flex all day. He looked good.
Yeah, I mean, if those guys are both out, yeah. If one of those guys comes back, though, is it back to the bench for him?
I think if both of them come back, right, probably back to
Okay.
the bench.
Okay.
But with one of them, I mean, it's tough for me to want to roll it in my lineup, but I would certainly be monitoring it, and depending how desperate I was.
Yeah. Mm. They got the Buccaneers, so they're going to need to put up some points.
Hmm.
But both those teams, those are two very injured teams between the 49ers and the Buccaneers, but that's all right.
And they're still doing it though. They're still playing hard and they're still playing good football.
I love that Buccaneers team. That is one tough football team. I love watching them play.
I'm very surprised that without Mike Evans and without the coaching change that Baker has been able to do what he's proven me wrong so far this year.
He goes, give me Ibuka, give me a half of Chris Godwin, half of Mike Evans. I don't care. I'm going to get the job done. Take away Bucky. It doesn't matter. I'll hit Rashad. That dude is fixing and plugging holes wherever he needs to.
Baker Mayfield is quarterback 3 right now on the season.
What a stud.
Against Atlanta, Houston, Jets, Philly, and Seattle. And those are not all trash. Those are decent defenses. So
I love that. He is such a tough kid. Such a tough kid out there.
Okay. Dylan Gabriel. What did you think of Gabriel?
He did better than I thought, which was impressive.
I agree.
I'm pretty sure he had a decent completion percentage. I like the move there. I think they have something to work with within him. It was a close game, tight game that they ended up losing, but he played well enough where I think he's earned a couple weeks at this role. And now that they have traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals, it's his job, and it doesn't sound like anyone's high on Sanders coming in and taking it. So it sounds like it's Dylan Gabriel's job, and unless he really craps the bed, I don't know if we're going to see Shador until maybe toward. I mean, he'd have to do some bad things. What do
I
you
think
think?
it's definitely his job to lose. I think this performance was part of the reason they felt good about trading Joe Flacco. Against Minnesota last week, he was 19 for 33, 190 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks.
No turnovers.
And that is one of the best defensive-minded coordinators in the NFL over there. So I thought this would be a bad performance out of the gate for him, but impressive. I mean, their team leans on the running game, right? So.
And what an ingenious move by the Cincinnati Bengals, saying, holy crap, we are not getting the job done with our current starter. If we want to rectify this season at all, we need to make a move. And they did. They brought back one of the best comeback players of the year from 2 years ago in Joe Flacco over there to throw it to 2 of the best wide receiver weapons in the NFL. And they play our Packers this week. So I really wish they would have waited one more week on this trade. But nonetheless, I think the Bengals are now going to get some dubs back in the W column here with Joe Flacco at the helm.
Yeah, their defense has actually been a little better than most people thought so far this season. It's really just the running game has not been as good as we wanted it to. And then obviously Joe Burrow. So What do we make of Joe Flacco here? Does this boost everybody else enough where they're back up to 80 or 90% of the Joe Flacco value? I don't think quite that high.
Are you talking about the weapons like Jamar and them, or what are you talking about?
Jamar, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown primarily.
All right, not talking about Chase Brown because I don't think it helped him enough. But in terms of Higgins and Chase, Jamar Chase, I think it gives them quite a bit of a boost. You're not back to the Burrow, but I think 80%, maybe 90% is fair to say because Flacco can still sling it.
Yeah. I mean,
Even though he did struggle.
he's had some poor performances this season. First week against Cincinnati, 31 for 45, 200 yards, one touchdown, two picks. Against Baltimore, week 2, one touchdown, one pick, just under 200 yards. Against Green Bay, very bad, 21 for 36, 140 yards and a pick, no touchdown. And then against Detroit, 16-34, 184 yards, two picks, and a fumble loss. So his fantasy points 12, 8, 4, and 1.
Yeah, but the real difference in that is Jerry Jeudy and Njoku or Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown.
I know, but I do think the Browns have a much better offensive line. And is the Bengals offensive line going to give this guy enough time? He's 40 years old, right? He doesn't move well. He's got an arm. He's got an arm. I don't doubt that. He's always had one of the best arms, especially for strength in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if you're just going to game up, freaking
sling it.
Chase, just deep. Jamar Chase, just every play, we're deep balling it.
you hand Joe the ball and you say, look, man, you saw the past 3 weeks and what we didn't do. Just go out there and have fun. Just go hit our $50 million wide receivers, please. Just hit them 10 times a game and we'll take care of the rest.
It definitely makes it's going to be way more exciting to watch. I was very disappointed in Jake Browning. When the year he came in for Joe Flacco previously when injured, he looked way better. So I don't know what's going on with him. I did not like the performance from him and the playmakers around him. It really hurt them. T. Higgins has been kind of a slouch this year. We'll see if this move can bring that offense back to life. I mean, I do respect the Bengals organization for doing it and trying to save this season to some extent. So hopefully we get enough of a fantasy boost in Dynasty Superflex 10 team deep. I did scoop me some Flacco just in case. A little QB depth, and if he does anything with these crazy weapons. No, in Dynasty.
Oh. How much did you pay for him?
I think it was like 20 or 30 bucks.
Because I put in $26 for him, and I didn't see
it was 31
this morning.
I did 31 for him. All right. Moving on, Lamar, he's questionable this week. Then they have a bye after that. I mean, I think it makes sense to hold him out a week if he's questionable. However, with their record, maybe they will want to play him this week. I don't know.
I mean, you got a bye week coming. If there wasn't a bye week coming up, I'd say you could risk it more. But when you have all right, we for sure have a week to get him fully healthy, and it's Lamar Jackson, I think you rest him one more time here. And then I think Lamar Jackson owners, the back end of this season, are going to be very happy because he is going to have to turn to Superman and win every game. Yeah. Every game is going to be a playoff game for him. Literally, he's going to have to run more. He's going to have to do everything, and that defense is going to have to figure it out. So I do like Lamar. I think the back end of this season, he is going to be electric. But no, I think you rest your MVP quarterback if you have a bye week right afterwards. And then you say, hey, buddy, here's the ball, but you can't lose another game. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would default to too. But they are pretty much like they need wins if they want to compete. So I could see it going either way. Moving on to some tight ends. Adam, what's the status on Brock Bowers?
Brock Bowers, he irritated his PCL, posterior cruciate ligament. You have your ACL and your PCL. ACL is the big feared one. Your PCL sits just behind it. Now, what's different about a PCL is it's not as, I don't want to say not as needed, but not as essential as an ACL. And it's only sprained. It's not completely torn. So, as you saw with Brock Bowers last few weeks, he hasn't been performing, and obviously we know why. It's because his knee's been bothering him, so that makes sense, right? I honestly think what you do here with him is you rest him one more week as well, and then you put him out there because I think you need him for the Chiefs in 2 weeks as opposed to the Titans this week, where it's 2 1-4 teams. You got to get that dub without him, and then you take him into Kansas City and you bring him out there and you play him every snap. But yeah, it's swelling. It's swelling in the knee joint. It's really just up to the player how he feels. Is it irritated? Obviously, it's irritating him. So rest him one more week, get him back out there against the Chiefs, and hopefully he can take off the rest of the year for owners.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do something. It's bad over there for the Raiders. This is kind of what I feared with Geno Smith and that offense and that offensive line. Um, Tom Brady's got to be losing his mind. He's one of the most competitive guys in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he knew it was probably going to be a long haul, though, right? I mean,
Did you watch it? Did you watch this show about his soccer team that he owns?
no, I didn't. I heard he owns one,
You
but I
gotta
didn't watch
it.
anything.
I watched at least a couple episodes.
Did they tell him to stick to football, American football?
No, he just comes in and motivates and tries to, bring his winning mindset to everything that he does. Is kind of what I noticed.
What a G.
Yeah, pretty much.
What a life that'd be to live.
All right. Barner in Dynasty. I did scoop me some Barner, Seattle tight end. He had a breakout game and he's young. So, Dynasty, I thought it was worth the scoop. $20 on the free agency budget for me. Last week, 7 grabs, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 targets. So, everything that was thrown his way, he caught and he scored twice. Prior week against Arizona, he also had a touchdown, 12 fantasy points. In week 2 against Pittsburgh, also had a touchdown. So he's got 4 on the season. I thought, why not? Depth piece, and he's young. I think he's looking good enough.
Yeah.
Keeper leagues, that's kind of where I see he's got some status. Evan Ingram finally fell into the end zone after a very bad start to this season. Hopefully he shapes up here and is a little more consistent moving forward. Denver's offense, it's hard because everybody's kind of having their own day, Like Sutton will have a big game, then it's Franklin, then Evan Ingram gets in, then Dobbins gets in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to be consistent, but it's still a good offense, and we hope those players get a little more consistent and healthy moving forward. And Njoku, the week I dropped him for Darren Waller, of course, he falls into the end zone.
That gave me a good chuckle.
In the 10-team, 2-quarterback league. So Fannin is still very involved, and they are like a 50-50 for targets. However, this last week with Gabriel, Njoku definitely got more targets and looks, probably because he's a better blocker with the rookie quarterback in there, my guess. So something to monitor if you need a tight end, or, I mean, he's probably not available in most leagues. Anything you want to say about those guys?
No, not really. I mean, it makes sense though with Gabriel because younger quarterbacks like tight ends to throw to, easier routes, simpler throws, linebacker coverage. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. And then Brenton Strange has been placed on IR with a hip quad injury. Jacksonville's tight end.
A little inju for the guy.
Yeah, a little inju for the guy. Anything else on those tight ends?
No, looking good. I need Brock Bowers to get healthy and start producing. It's going to be costly to anyone's fantasy team that grabbed him early, and if he continues at this clip, that's going to be a season ruiner, I would say.
Yeah, I'll just rattle off top 10 tight ends just so we know where we're at. Jake Ferguson, Dalton Kincaid, Tyler Warren, Trey McBride, Hunter Henry, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Jake Tungus, San Francisco guy. He's probably available in a lot of leagues still. He's tight end 8.
He could be.
If you need somebody for bye weeks, he's scored a touchdown each of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Kittle's coming back in a week or two, I think, though. So that's kind of.
So if you need 1 week fill-in, he could be a guy that's available for you. Dallas Goedert, and then Juwan Johnson, and then AJ Barner comes in at tight end 11. Interesting. How about that? I think he'd be the pickup if he's available and if you need a guy right now in probably most 10 or 12 potential leagues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You got anything else?
No, it's been good. We got another fun week of action coming at us.
Thursday night, what do we have? Philadelphia
Eagles,
and the
Giants. Yep,
Eagles,
with an up-and-coming Giants team against an Eagles team that is not producing at the level that they should be, and they just lost a close one that they should not have lost.
Yeah, and the game is 40 points.
Yep, total's at 40, and it's a 7-point favor to the Eagles, 7.5. So I almost don't hate bumping the Giants spread up to 10.5 and thinking it's going to be a tight one, but I haven't put any money out yet, so we'll monitor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I do think the Giants' defensive secondary is bad, but the defensive line and the defense just in general has been a little better.
Yeah, the defensive line is improved. They got some young guys. And,
Cam Scatterbo is good. I
He
don't
is
think
good.
there's any way around it. He's good.
He's an Energizer bunny from hell,
Good.
and he has been
Yeah.
sent to New York.
He doesn't have any breakaway speed, but he's a pretty good little running guy over there. He's physical, he's tough, he's good. Dart, what do we think of Dart's play? I think he's also a quarterback in a one team that you could start considering if you need a guy, if somebody else is slouching or you got an injury.
With his rushing upside, absolutely.
Let me just
Last
pull
week,
him
he kind
up,
of,
see
yeah,
where he's
I was
at right now.
disappointed in what he did last week, but his first weekend, 2 weeks ago, was phenomenal against the Chargers, what he did there. But no, I mean, great rushing upside. It sucks that Malik's out too because it hurts his top end throwing a little bit. But with that rushing upside in there,
All right.
absolutely. And then
If it's me, I'd hold off. Last week against the Saints, which
it was
was I
bad.
thought a better matchup, 26 for 40, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He did get you 55 yards rushing. And then the week before against the Chargers, 13 for 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, and then another 50 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
His
That's where you're going
schedule,
to find the
though,
value.
he's got Philadelphia this week, Thursday. Then he goes to Denver, and then he comes back with Philadelphia. So I think three kind of tougher matchups here the next 3 weeks. So I'd probably be a little cool on him right now, pending my other options.
Put him in there, plug him and play him, and hope he runs one in the end zone.
You do have a little bit of a rushing floor with him, though.
But yeah.
A little bit. All right. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for
It's
tuning in to the Fantasy Football Channel. We'll catch you guys in the next one.